story about my fourth job in May and June of 1992 when I was 18 years old, and I worked as a yard helper or lot helper at 84 Lumber in Greenwood, a small town south of Indianapolis, which you, Zoe, know, of course, since a grandma, an aunt, and several cousins have lived there for years. But for the purposes of a larger potential video audience, I shall give the location further context. There's a large mall in Greenwood that we've gone to for years. My oldest son is in his residency at a hospital in Greenwood, and I did a lot of contract work in the area for one of my later jobs. Maybe for more than one of my later jobs. Anyway, it has been a convenient and popular location throughout my life in Indiana. However, I chose that job in 1992 because my Uncle David, my mom's brother, was the manager, and he got me a job for the summer. As previously discussed, this was not my only job at the time. I was working overnight stock at Cub Foods near my house, but keeping both jobs became physically impossible after just a short time. Greenwood was a bit of a long drive from our house on the west side of Indianapolis, but I spent a lot of time with David when we were growing up, and I liked the idea of working with him, so I took the job and tried to make it successful. The yard dogs, as we were colloquially called at this business, were responsible for pulling the lumber orders from the storage area and bringing them to the customers in the pickup area. There were two of us working that position at the time. The other guy was a little older and a bit more local. I don't think he'd been there long, and I don't think he was that much older than me, but he was the kind of guy who really took ownership of his situation, whatever that situation may have been. So he talked as if he practically owned the place. I think he might have been 21, actually. I believe he lived across the street from 84 Lumber in a trailer, possibly with his girlfriend and her parents, or possibly with his own mother, but also his girlfriend. I seem to recall a girlfriend for sure, and at least one parent. This was a long time ago. He had not completed high school and had held a number of fast food jobs, and seemed honestly surprised that nobody asked him to be an assistant manager that time when two new guys showed up in the manager training program that summer. Being so new to employment myself, and having lived quite a sheltered life up to that point, working with this guy made me nervous and uncomfortable. One of the responsibilities of the yard dogs, however, was to drive the forklift in the work area to move the big stuff around. I received training, of course, which included a lot of safety reminders, instructions, and precautions. My coworker, who presumably received the same training, liked to drive that thing as fast and recklessly as he could. And one time he did actually cause the forklift to topple over after whipping around the corner with an unbalanced load. I think he got a few scratches and missed a couple of days after that, but then he was back at it, talking about how fun it was. I was shocked and even more nervous after that. I would have been driving my '78 Mustang to that job, and seemed to be spending most of my pay on gasoline and probably lunch. I was only making $5.25 an hour, and the car was by no means in pristine condition. Plus, there was no efficient way to get to the location from my house. Believe me, I tried several different routes. But lots of traffic and lots of stops were unavoidable, and the car just wasn't the best ride for that kind of commute. I stopped working there after a few weeks because I wasn't really making any extra money beyond basic car maintenance, and I was a high level of uncomfortable pretty much every day. I felt bad about letting my uncle down, but I just couldn't keep going there that summer. Soon after deciding I would not continue my employment there, my dad heard from a colleague that they were hiring lawn and maintenance help at Crown Hill Cemetery in Indianapolis, so I went there to get my next job. 84 Lumber still exists today. That Greenwood store is still in the same location. It doesn't seem that the company is as big as the Lowe's or Home Depot, but they're still there doing lumberyard business, so who knows how that job could have gone. My uncle also didn't seem to stay there too much longer after I left, or it could have been another 2 years, I don't know. I really can't remember, but I'm pretty sure he didn't work there when my cousin was born, and she's real close to 30 right now, if not a little older. So that's another short one. There may be a lot of those. But there's plenty more stories yet to come. And as always, thanks for watching.